Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about my Pilea pepermioides. I believe that's how you say it. It's a bit of a tongue twister. Pileas are wonderful houseplants. Really interesting. They're called a UFO plant or a Chinese money plant. They have these nice round leaves on this long petalo here. And yeah, they form sort of discs. And they just are an ideal houseplant. Super easy to grow. They come from China, and they're up in the mountains and in deep forest. Now, I haven't actually seen their locations, but I've read about it. Just sort of in getting my care all organized for these plants. And they really like just room temperatures. Being higher in the mountains, they're not super hot. But being closer to the equator, they are fairly stable. They don't have necessarily seasons, but they like really low light. I believe they're really just forest dwellers, and there's a lot of shade from the trees up above. And they also, they don't take a lot of water, which makes them a great houseplant as well. Because let's face it, a lot of houseplant growers can kind of forget to water their plants, and that's what makes a houseplant, you know, that's one of the attributes that makes a houseplant a great houseplant, is you can forget to water it for a while. So these guys can totally go dry for short periods of time. They don't like to be soppy wet. You don't want to sit them in trays of water or anything like that. And they seem to be really good in low light. Now, one of the only things that I have found about them is they are humidity sensitive. So again, if you can imagine being in a forest underneath the overgrowth, I would suspect it's going to be very humid, although I haven't actually got the numbers for the humidity. But the leaves start to actually curl if they're not kept humid enough. So if we look at this example here, this little leaf here is curling because I recently moved this plant to a new grow location, and look at how curled the leaves are because it didn't have the humidity. This plant here, believe it or not, I don't actually grow any of these as houseplants. I just sort of move them around and do little experiments with them. This one's been growing in my greenhouse for quite a while now. I probably acquired this 6-8 months ago, and it grows on the warm side, right on the floor, underneath all the benches. And it's an east wall, so it just gets a bit of morning light, more in the summertime where it would get just brighter with the sun kind of hitting that area. This time of year in the winter, it's very dark down there actually. Now when I say dark for greenhouse conditions, it's not dark like a house. A house is very dark, but again, it's thriving down there and doing very well in the dark. So these plants, they would do well even, you know, just in a west window or an east window, or potentially even a north window. I would say that in the greenhouse, this is getting north window light and doing quite well. I'm amazed at how fast they're growing. I put them in a big pot because they do get substantial roots to them. At least that was one of my experiments that I wanted to see. Now I have 2 of these guys, but only one of them is here. I guess it's the other one. You can actually see the roots coming down. What can we see from the bottom? Nothing on this guy. But anyways, yeah. Just wonderful little plants. And they reproduce very easily as well. And I think I'll get to that in a different video. But for now, we'll just worry about care. So as for fertilizer, I do find that they do take a mild fertilizer. I have started putting just a slow release pellet in. So when I water, they get a little bit of fertilizer in there. These are just Osmocote pellets. I wonder if I can see one. Probably not. They're kind of like an orange little pellet. Let me see here. I think I see one. So I don't know if you're going to be able to focus on this. That's a slow release fertilizer. And they last about 6 months. And in a big pot like this, I probably put 10 or 12. And in the little pots like this, I probably put 4 to 6. Now, these guys, these are my first ones I got, and I got them as basically unrooted cuttings. And I had to root them myself, and they probably had 3 leaves on that were kind of looking sad. And this one has done a little bit better than this one. But both of them have definitely rooted now. And you can see the roots on the surface of the plant, maybe. Can we look in there? And you can even see a little tiny pup starting to form on this guy. So there is a vegetative reproduction. That one looks like it's coming off the stem. They'll actually produce little pups just coming out of the pot as well. So that's kind of nice. But yeah, the only thing that I would suggest is keep the lighting a little bit low. In medium lighting, I find you get nice red stems like this. You can see how the stem on this one is redder than the stem on this one. We can compare them side by side. Not sure if you're going to be able to see in the light, but this one that I'm shaking now has quite a red stem to it, and this one that I'm shaking has more of a green stem to it. Now they are both the same species, just grown in different environments, and these ones were growing under mild LED lights. And I found it was just enough. Just enough. Now I'm going to get one more plant from right above us, and I want to show you what I think too much light looks like. So this guy here I put under my bright LED, my Mars Hydro light, and although it's growing fast, a few things I've noticed have happened. Yes, it's getting some of those red stems you're talking about, but the leaves are getting smaller and they're curling in. I think it's due to a lack of humidity and too much light. And I also noticed that they're getting some yellow dots in them, which again, some plants, depending on how many plants you grow and what you're sort of used to, if a plant is in a very dim environment, they seem to be, and I'll quote, lush green plants, looking very healthy, a dark deep green. And some plants, as a symptom of too much light, turn yellow. Well, I think these ones, as a symptom of too much light, actually get a little bit of blotching in their leaves, because these two were growing side by side in the greenhouse up until very recently. And then, so you can see the leaves there. And then recently I moved this under fairly bright LED lights. So you can see the leaf curl coming, and yeah, I'm not sure. But anyways, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this guy back down on the floor in the greenhouse, just like we had discussed, or maybe I'll leave it in the house just as a house plant, because again, they do so well as house plants. So anyways, yeah, I hope you liked this video, and if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I guess this video sort of ended up being Pilea care and light requirements. So anyways, I think what I'm going to do now is, if you look in this pot here, there are a bunch of little pups. So why don't we do a repotting video, and I'll show you how to separate the pups off into little plants like this. It's great when you can leave them long enough in there when you're not in too much of a hurry, and they become nice little plants. So anyways, I hope you like this video, and if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And as always, thanks for watching. Check out this little pup that the mother plant produced. Very cool little plant. And in my next video, I show you with some detail on how we actually remove the pups from the pot, how we go about tracing the roots back, how deep you have to dig, everything like that, to remove these guys successfully. I talk about the potting mix we're going to use, and we pot one up together, and then I give you some after potting care for your freshly cut off Pilea pepermioides. So if you want to see that video, it's already made, and it's the next video in the series, because I just did it, but I thought I would give sort of a indication that I did it on this video here too, because these are so cool. I was so thrilled to have these things poking through the soil. Check these out. Little tiny babies. They're cute too. So anyways, watch the next video.